Time for another episode of Unconventional Wisdom, and today we're talking to the legendary one of the greatest basketball players from the DC region, one of the greatest basketball players to ever play in the NBA. He is a DMV native. We're talking about the one and only Adrian Dantley. Adrian, appreciate you coming in and hanging out with us this morning. Appreciate your time.
Good to be here.
Yeah, good to see you. Good to talk to you. So let's talk about current. Let's keep it current. What are you doing right now? Because when I saw you, I saw you on the basketball court, not playing basketball, but you're officiating games.
Yeah, well, I saw you last week. You was doing a great job coaching your son's team.
Trying.
So I've been just doing that. I like seeing the young kids and officiating, just get some exercise,
Right.
stay in shape. But I really enjoy officiating the kids around your son's age,
Yeah.
around the 10, 11, 12,
Right.
13-year-old.
Yeah.
But I referee all ages, 70 and over.
Oh, really? What's
And
what's your favorite group to referee? Your
I
favorite?
would, I would say the 10 to 13 year
Oh, is
old.
that why so? Because they don't get to talk back.
Well, I can kind of look at them and say, this kid might be pretty good.
Okay.
I'm going to look for him maybe 3 or 4 years
Gotcha.
from now. So I pretty much know all the young kids in the area. So when I do see them in high school, it doesn't surprise me because I remember
Gotcha.
the way
Okay.
they played when they was young.
All right. What about the worst group to officiate?
Uh,
The ones that give you the hardest time.
Only ones that give me a hard time a couple times, maybe the parents. But because I play, they don't give me a hard time.
They leave it because
Yeah.
you're a legend. They're like, we're not gonna mess.
Sometimes I have some parents give me a rough time, but overall, I enjoy officiating all the guys.
All right. How'd you get into it? Did you just say, okay, I'm done with basketball, so now I got to find something else to do, or was it? I know you said it was your passion, but how did you actually get into it?
I was basically in the gym one day. The guy said, "You want to referee?" And I said, "Yeah, I think I might want to do that because I enjoy, seeing guys play, girls play, older people play, adults try to play,
Like me.
So that's how I got into it.
Got you. Okay. All right. So let's go backwards now. Let's go backwards to your Turkey Thicket days. Turkey Thicket is a legendary basketball court or area here in the D.C. area. Your love for basketball, it started before Turkey Thicket, I'm assuming?
Well, when I was growing up, if you were a good basketball player, you had to go through Turkey Thicket. So I know all about it. When I was young, I went to all the playgrounds in the whole area, Banneker, Cadoza, Turkey Thicket, St. Anne's, Luzon. So anybody who played basketball in the area, they knew where to go to play basketball to try to, make your skills a little bit better. Be a better player, you had to go to the best playground.
To the areas and the legendary areas. So look, so when you're playing at Turkey Thicket versus playing in high school and all that stuff, which one is tougher?
Well, playground's a lot tougher.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, well, because you got to call your own fouls and all that.
Well, it depends on where you might go. But me, I was from the inner city.
Yeah.
But I played at DeMatha.
Okay.
So when I was growing up and playing at DeMatha, I was All-American. But all the guys in the city, they really didn't think I was that good.
Okay. Because you were at DeMatha.
Because
at this it was a private school.
I'm out in the suburbs.
Right.
But I play in the city. Only thing about it, most of the guys at DeMatha were from the city.
Okay.
So, but you always had your few that didn't think that the Catholic school guys weren't that good, even though we lived in the city.
Right. So how'd you proved them wrong, obviously. How hard was that? How big of a challenge was that for you? Because again, they knew where you were from, but you weren't playing. You're in DeMatha in the burbs.
It wasn't difficult at all. Most of the guys I played against, I outplayed them.
Oh, is that right? Now,
but they still thought they were better than me. Though.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? Do you remember any of the other ones that that gave you the hardest time? Like did Austin Carr give you a hard time? Any of those guys give you a hard time on the basketball court?
Well, Austin Carr was like 6 years older than me.
Okay.
I really didn't play against him that many times. Maybe a couple times at Luzon. But all the other players, all the great players in the areas I played against. So Austin was definitely a legend. When I was in high school, that's what everybody did on the Saturday. He was one of the greatest players that ever played the game.
Really?
Yeah, it's just that he didn't have that success in the NBA.
Right.
But in college, he was averaging like 35 a game. I mean, if they had the three-point shot, back then with him and Pete Maravich, no telling what they might average.
Right. Okay. So let's go forward past DeMatha. All right. So you end up in college. I'm sure the recruiting process is a lot different than it is right now. How was it back in the recruiting process? Because you were one of the top players.
Well, back then,
How did you decide to go to that school? And yeah.
well, when I was being recruited, when I was at the Math, it was a known fact that I was supposed to go to North Carolina.
Okay.
Because I went to there.
You were supposed to be a Tar Heel.
Yeah, I was supposed to be a Tar Heel.
Okay.
It was all done.
Okay.
But and then there were a few other schools, Bobby Knight, Indiana. I was thinking about going there, and Lefty, Maryland.
Okay.
Those were the three schools. Notre Dame was not in the picture. Notre Dame was like 6-24.
Okay.
The last 2 years, so I wasn't really interested in Notre Dame. Even though you would get great exposure if you attended Notre Dame, because they was always on TV, so that always intrigued me a little bit.
Even though they were terrible, they were always on TV.
They were always on, just like football.
Right. They're TV friendly. Yeah. So how did you get to Notre Dame then? So Carolina was number one, and you had your other options. Notre Dame was not on the list. So what happened?
What happened was we had a lot of great players from the area that attended Notre Dame: Bob Whitmore, Sid Catlett, Carlos Jones, Austin Carr, and Digger just kept plugging at me like, "Why don't you just come out for a visit?" I already knew the history of Notre Dame because when I was young, I watched them play football every Sunday morning. I mean, that was the only thing on TV.
Right.
And I knew the history of it. So he said, "Why don't you just come out one day?" And came out, and when I started driving down that street, I saw that Golden Dome. I said, "I want to go here."
Really? It was that simple?
So it didn't have anything to do with him recruiting me or them being on TV, them being a football school, even though I played basketball. Just, I was done. I was ready to go there once I saw the Golden Dome.
Over the Carolina Blue, over the Terps.
Well, I was thinking about going to Carolina, but they had one thing that I didn't like.
What's that?
They had four corners.
Oh, Dean Smith and that infamous four corners, slow the ball down,
so
pass the ball around.
I said, why should I stay in the corner for 9 minutes when I can get like 12 points in that time? So I said, I didn't want to go there. But very close friend, I ended up playing for him in the Olympics.
Right.
So, but I chose not to go to North Carolina.
Okay. All right. How was the Olympic experience with Dean?
Olympics was a great experience. I thought he might cut me because I didn't attend didn't attend North Carolina.
Yeah.
But great coach, best condition I've ever been in my life.
Really? Okay.
And it was pretty interesting. We had 15 players, and I think 12 of them were ACC players.
Really?
So then the other three, maybe other four were from different leagues. Scott May, Quinn Buckner, and Ernie Grunfeld was on that team also.
Okay.
So it was just us four. Then the other 11 was ACC players.
Wow. Okay. Now you also mentioned that you were considering Indiana. Now Bobby Knight, we knew his reputation when he coached. Did that factor in at all about how he was a hothead, had a big temper? Did any of that factor in, or not really?
No, it didn't bother me. I knew the history. When I was, I knew all about him going off, his tirades and so forth. So that didn't bother me at all. But I remember when he came to visit me, I said, "Mom, Bobby Knight, he's coming in here now. He's a different kind of guy. He's crazy, right?" So he ended up visiting, and when he left, my mother said, "You must be lying on this guy. He's a great guy. He's a super guy." I said, "Well, that's what's going to happen when they recruit you." But I ended up not going there. My first scholarship was from Army when Bobby Knight was a coach at Army.
Really? Okay.
And he used to always come to the Matha, and I used to demonstrate his clinics, taking charges, diving for loose balls. So that's why I knew about it. I knew about him way back when I was in ninth grade.
Okay, but he wasn't temperamental back then, like at least when he was running clinics, right?
No.
The Army. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. So look. So Olympics to college. You had a good college experience at Notre Dame. You had some success at Notre Dame. So now let's talk about the NBA, getting drafted into the NBA.